Monday morning in Hamilton County Courthouse began like any other. Attorneys shuffled through security, clerks hauled files across the polished floors, and officers posted up at their usual corners. Officer Richard Bell leaned against a column outside courtroom 4B, sipping coffee from a styrofoam cup. His gaze flicked toward a sharply dressed black man in his 40s, approaching with a leather briefcase and a confident stride. Bell nudged the deputy beside him. "Looks like we've got another public defender trying to play lawyer," he said with a chuckle. The man didn't glance their way. He simply walked through the double doors of the courtroom and disappeared into the judge's chambers. A few moments later, the bailiff entered the room and called out, "All rise for the Honorable Judge Langston Price." Officer Bell's smirk froze. The man who emerged in a black robe, adjusting his sleeves as he stepped up to the bench, was the very person he had mocked just minutes earlier. Judge Langston Price. Tall, composed, and sharply articulate, Price was the county's youngest sitting judge and the first African-American to hold the position in the district's 112-year history. With a Harvard law degree and a decade of courtroom experience under his belt, he had earned a reputation for being fair, firm, and unflinchingly focused on facts. The court settled as Judge Price addressed the room. "Let's proceed." The morning docket was filled with misdemeanor hearings and procedural motions. Among them was a case involving Officer Bell himself, a contested traffic stop involving questionable search tactics. The defense had filed a motion to suppress evidence, citing racial profiling. When Officer Bell was called to the stand, he was noticeably less brash than before. The defense attorney questioned him thoroughly, pointing out inconsistencies in his report and body cam footage. As the judge listened, he occasionally took notes, expression unreadable. When it was time for Judge Price to deliver his ruling on the motion, his words were measured. "Officer Bell," he began, "your sworn testimony conflicts with both the footage and the defendant's civil rights." The room fell silent. "In light of the evidence," he continued, "the court grants the defense's motion to suppress. Furthermore, I am referring this matter to the Internal Review Board for further investigation." Bell looked stunned. Judge Price paused briefly, then added, "This courtroom does not operate on assumptions or appearances. Justice here wears no uniform and shows no favor." The hearing moved on, but whispers spread quickly through the courthouse. By the lunch recess, Judge Price was the name on everyone's lips. Lawyers and clerks marveling at the authority he carried, the clarity of his reasoning, and the grace with which he dismantled bias. Outside, a young law student who had sat in the gallery approached him as he exited the courtroom. "Judge Price," she said, "thank you for today." That was powerful. He smiled, tired but warm. "Just doing my job." Later, a local journalist wrote about the moment. "In a courthouse that has long reflected the biases of the world outside it, Judge Langston Price reminded everyone that justice is not a performance, and that a black robe means business, no matter who's wearing it." And as for Officer Bell, he never smirked at another defendant again.